Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoyanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna tatrābhavad Yamuna tatrābhavad Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivajakacharya Astotara Sata Shishimad ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shri Hukkaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Rajabhumi Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Ki Ganga Mai Ki Yamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Tulsi Maharani Ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram cha eva narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyāsam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayashu Avadeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from chapter 19 of the first canto, entitled The Appearance of Sukadeva Goswami, text number 25. tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā gam aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ. Ladies, anyone? Any ladies wanna? tatrābhavad bhagavān vyāsa-putro yadṛcchayā aṭamāno napekṣaḥ alakṣya-liṅgo nija-lābha-tuṣṭo vṛtaś bālair avadhūta-veṣaḥ tatra there abhavat appeared bhagavān powerful vyāsa-putraḥ son of Vyāsadeva yadṛcchayā as one desires gam the earth aṭamānaḥ while traveling anapekṣaḥ disinterested alakṣya unmanifested liṅgaḥ symptoms nija-lābha self-realized tuṣṭaḥ satisfied vṛtaḥ surrounded cha and bālair by children, avadhūta neglected by others, veṣaḥ dressed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. At that moment there appeared the powerful son of Vyāsadeva, who traveled over the earth disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. Please repeat. At that moment there appeared the powerful son of Vyāsadeva, who traveled over the earth disinterested and satisfied with himself. He did not manifest any symptoms of belonging to any social order or status of life. He was surrounded with women and children, and he dressed as if others had neglected him. The word bhagavān is sometimes used in relation with some of the great devotees of the Lord, like Sukadeva Goswami. Such liberated souls are disinterested in the affairs of this material world because they are self-satisfied by the great achievements of devotional service. As explained before, Sukadeva Goswami never accepted any formal spiritual master, nor did he undergo any formal reformatory performances. His father Vedavyas was his natural spiritual master because Sukadeva Goswami heard Srimad Bhagavatam from him. After this, he became completely satisfied. Thus, he was not dependent on any formal process. The formal processes are necessary for those who are expected to reach the stage of complete liberation. But Sri Sukadeva Goswami was already in the status by the grace of his father. As a young boy, he was expected to be properly dressed, but he went about naked and was uninterested in social customs. He was neglected by the general populace, and inquisitive boys and women surrounded him as if he were a madman. He thus appears on the scene while traveling on the earth of his own accord. It appears that upon the inquiry of Maharaj Parikshit, the great sages were not unanimous in their decision as to what was to be done. For spiritual salvation, there were many prescriptions according to the different modes of different persons. But the ultimate aim of life is to attain the highest perfectional stage of devotional service to the Lord. As doctors differ, so also sages differ in their different prescriptions. While such things were going on, the great and powerful son of Vyāsadeva appeared on the scene. Om ajnana timirandasya gina gina shalakaya chakshur unmilitam gina tasmai shri gurave namaha. So here, Sukadeva Goswami is being referred to as Bhagavān. Bhagavān actually refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but because the great devotees of the Lord are so much in sync with Krishna, the Lord, they are also considered they are very powerful, and therefore they're also considered as Bhagavān, one who's full in all six opulences. Here, Sukadeva Goswami is being described also as an avadhūta because he's not following any of the varnashram codes of conduct. Actually, he doesn't even wear clothing. These great devotees of the Lord, mamchaya vyabhicharana bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna tells Arjuna that those who have transcended the modes of material nature by dint of their pure devotional service to himself, to Krishna, they have eliminated the influence of the modes of material nature. So, sarvabhuteshu yainaikam bhavam atmanam, that they see only the soul within the various varieties of their various species of life. Sarvabhuteshu yainaikam bhavam avyam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu. They're going around, but they're only seeing the super soul within everyone's heart, and they're seeing the soul accompanying with the super soul, going through so many different yonis, so many different species of life. And their only concern is actually, like Prahlad Maharaj, is to enlighten these souls to the status of self-realization, right? So chetato vimukacesa chetasa indriyartam maya sukaya baram, that all these souls, conditioned souls, even if they're following the Vedic scriptures, Vedic literatures, they may be following prakriti marg instead of nivritti marg. The two types of courses are being instructed by the Vedic literatures. Nivritti marg means a process of renunciation from all material desires. So Sukadeva Goswami here, he's completely aniha. He has no interest, no material desires. This is the symptom of an avadhūta, or even you can say Shaktivish avatar. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, great devotee of the Lord, and he was wandering through the forest and he met an avadhūta. And this avadhūta was simply lying on the ground with barely any clothing on. And he started instructing Prahlad Maharaj, Viraga sarvakamebhyo shikshito me madhu vṛtaś anihani amanasya. Aniha, again, no desire whatsoever within the heart, pure devotional service. This is the state of Krishna consciousness that we're striving for. Vedi Bhakti, then Raganuga Bhakti. Spontaneous devotion which burns to ashes, as Rupa Goswami says, that pure devotional service burns all the snakes and creatures within the forest of the heart. It burns them so that there's no desire whatsoever, gross or subtle. We may say, well, I have given up my gross desires. What about the subtle desires? Adoration, distinction, and profit are manifestation of material desire for sense gratification. So even within the assembly of devotees, sometimes we want to be adored. We want to have some distinction, social distinction. And we want to make some gain, some type of gain. So therefore, devotional service is not such an easy thing. Here in this chapter, Parikshit Maharaj, he's being cursed by the Brahmin boy Shringi. He was very angry. Parikshit Maharaj, of course, this was an arrangement by the Lord. Krishna arranges things so that we can come to the stage of pure devotional service. Vipadashantu tashashvat tatrābhavad jagat guru. Even Parikshit Maharaj's grandmother, Kunti, or great-grandmother, she is offering these prayers to Krishna that I wish that these calamities would come again and again, so that I could see you again and again, and thus stop the repetition of birth and death. Apunar bhava darshanam. She just wants to see Krishna again and again, to stop the repetition of birth and death. So Parikshit Maharaj, he's a great devotee of the Lord. And he's ruling an entire kingdom. The whole of Bharatvarsha, the whole entire planet is being ruled by Parikshit Maharaj. And he's a great devotee of the Lord. From within the womb, he saw Lord Krishna within the womb, who protected him from the Brahmastra sent by Ashvatam. So Krishna is always protecting his devotees. And so Parikshit Maharaj, coming out of the womb, became the great ruler of the earth planet, and he ruled with great power and great saintliness, great love of God, great Krishna consciousness. This was his ruling. So all the citizens were happy. It's described in this particular canto, in, I believe, chapter 10, that during the reign of Maharaj Yudhisthira, Kama Vavarsha Parjanya, Sarvakama Dugamahi, Sukshishuma, Bhajangavam, that during the reign of Maharaj Yudhisthira, the mountains, the earth, the rivers, the oceans, they all supplied all the necessities of human beings. They supplied, the mountains supplied diamonds and rubies and sapphires and precious metals, and the rivers supplied nice fertilizers. The cows, they were very joyous, and they had Suchi Sushmata Vrajagavan. The cows were so happy, their milk bags were so full that they were watering the pasturing grounds. So this is the symptom of these great kings, that there's complete harmony and happiness within the lives of all the citizens. Kshatriya, they're protecting all the citizens. So Maharaj Parikshit was that kind of king. So when he was cursed, obviously, first of all, Krishna has left the planet, and the influence of Kali Yuga had influenced these Brahmins. This Brahmin boy had no place, cursing Parikshit Maharaj like this. Even his father, when he heard his son crying and crying because of the serpent was strung around the neck of the sage, that he came out of his samadhi meditation, and when he found out what the boy had done, he was very angry and chastised his son, that this is Naradeva, the king is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in human-like form, the saintly king. He's representing the Supreme Lord. So the age of Kali is already starting to influence the civilization and the society and so on. So here Sukadeva Goswami is traveling throughout the earth, and he is completely absorbed in the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord, and he is going to, within 7 days, Maharaj Parikshit has to hear 18,000 verses, and of course Sukadeva Goswami is Shrutidhar. Everything he heard within the womb of his mother from Vedavyas is completely given to memory. And so he recites the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, which we know is the ripened fruit of all Vedic knowledge, because basically it's dealing with dharmasya hi apavargasya, that the goal of human life is not to simply cultivate some nice family life, some social position, and remember Krishna. Like Parikshit Maharaj now has to renounce his entire kingdom and give up everything. So he renounced everything and placed his son in the position of authority, and he left everything behind. This is the example of the great kings. Even Maharaj Yudhisthira, they gave up everything, took sannyas, and walked towards the Himalayan mountains. Even Dhritarashtra was instructed by Vidura to now you have to renounce your life and go to the Himalayas. So this is the last stage in the life of all human beings, is to renounce everything, give it all up, and become free from these attachments to society and so on. So Sukadeva Goswami is going to instruct him, dharmasya hi apavargasya, that pavarga, that those who are attached to material possessions, pumsos trio maitani bhavametam tayor eva hridaya granti mahum, their heart is full of this knot. Janasya moho aham mameti. Janasya moho yam aham mameti. Vyāsadeva is telling his sons that the contact in family life creates a huge knot within the heart. And one becomes attached to his children, to his wife, to his household, to all these things. And so at the time of death, what happens? Krishna wants us to remember him at the time of death. In fact, we're practicing this chanting daily while we're preparing for that time. And we don't know. At least Parikshit Maharaj, he had 7 days notice. Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. Govinda Das says, Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Brindaya. I wish to remember the lotus feet of the son of Maharaj Nanda. That is the goal of human life. And that is the example given by our predecessor acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, Tyaktvatunam Ashesham. They gave up everything and put on loincloths. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they were very wealthy. They were very, very wealthy. They had boatloads of gold. But they gave away all their gold and went to Vrindavan under the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They became completely renounced even from eating and sleeping. So they completely conquered even the pushings of the material body. It says that Raghunath Das Goswami, he would just eat some little drops of butter every couple of days. He'd eat a little bit of butter and constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord and writing many, many literatures glorifying and revealing to us the nature of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan and how we can attain pure love for Krishna. So here, the beginning instruction, dharmasya hi apavargasya nartotaya pakalpate, na arta. We shouldn't be engaging in any kind of service simply to be worried about, oh, will food come today? Will I have enough shelter? will I have a good family life, you know? These things are simply little dust within the heart. Although, of course, Rupa Goswami describes in Upadeshamrita that we don't renounce anything and just say neti neti. It's like when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he went to Varanasi and met the Mayavadis, he introduced the idea of yukta vairagya, not this falgu vairagya, simply renouncing everything and simply living in a state of total denial. This is not. Jagan Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya, the universe. No, the universe isn't false. Yomam pashati sarvasya sarvam chamai pashati. One who sees me and everything in me. Sachame naprana, he's never lost to me. Panchikataya buddha hari sambandhi vashtana mumukshri parikyago yukta vairagyam uchate. So the devotee of the Lord, he sees his wife, his children, his household, everything as belonging to Krishna. Krishna is the supreme proprietor. And in this way, although he lives in this world, just like the lotus flower, Krishna tells Arjuna, Brahmani hidaya karma ni sangam tyaktva karotiya lipyate nasa papena padma patram ivam vashaha. The lotus flower is maybe in a muddy pond, but it's above the water. It's not touched by the sinful mud in the water or the material desires in the water. It's simply padma patram ivam vashaha. Lipyate nasa papane. One is not entangled by the actions and reactions of one's activities. If one is fully engaged 24 hours a day, always glorifying the Lord, serving the Lord, engaging in all the various activities, and even if one has his varna and ashram, he's doing it in a mood of devotion to the Supreme Lord. That is the perfection of life. That is the art of life. Not to go and live in the Himalayas, and live in a cave. As Prabhupada said, it's not even practical to do that in the age of Kali. So we have a very simple and easy process. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha. In this verse, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that one who engages in devotional service, gradually one's consciousness is raised to the mode of goodness, sattva gun. And in sattva gun, one starts to understand and become really educated, to know the difference between the living body and the dead body. Krishna tells him, this is real knowledge. You're speaking like a learned person, right? Asochanan vasochastram pragyava. You're speaking like a learned person, but gatasuna gata. You don't know the difference between a soul, a living body, and a body that has no life. Gatasuna gatasuna. Nanu sochanti panditaha. If you're actually pandit, you would know, you wouldn't be lamenting for these warriors on the battlefield that you're about to slaughter. So unfortunately, in this modern age that we live in, Kali Yuga has taken full hold, and everyone is simply cultivating material aggrandizement, simply pursuing economic development for sense gratification, which Krishna warns in the 14th chapter is the cause rajasastu palam dukam. Sat vikam karmana sukritasyahu, sat vikam nirmalam phalam. If you cultivate the mode of goodness in devotional service, your heart becomes purified. Rajasastu phalam dukam. If you want to cultivate passionate endeavors, material acquisitions, material sense pleasure, then you get nothing but misery. The fruit of that is misery. What to speak of the mode of ignorance? So here Sukadeva Goswami is going to describe the various activities of the Lord and his devotees, particularly many of the great devotees of the Lord. They went through life. For example, Maharaj Bharat, he was a great king, son of Vṛtaḥ, and he gave up his entire kingdom, his wealth, his many wives, his elephants, his properties, his palaces. He went to the forest. Unfortunately, in the material world, there's always danger at every step. Samasritaye padapalavaplavam. So he became attached to a deer. Fortunately, Krishna allowed him to remember his previous life in devotional service. He'd actually attained a very high stage of bhava, attachment to Krishna, without any desire. And in his next lifetime, after the birth of a deer, the body of a deer, he took birth as Jada Bharat. And then Jada Bharat explains to Maharaj Rahugana what it's like living in this forest of material enjoyment. How, one's children are like jackals, they're always trying to get something. One's wife, she's always asking, husband, give me this, husband, give me that, and so many things. Of course, the husband's also desiring from the wife her beauty and so on. So it's both ways. For the husband, the wife is Maya in the materialistic world, and for the wife, the husband is Maya in the materialistic world. So he explains all these various features of materialistic life. So here in our society today, modern society, ugra karmana, everyone is engaged in simply factory life, industry. Even in India, they're imitating the West, following the West. What is the Western society? Well, if you read the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you'll understand that it's nothing but demoniac civilization. Krishna tells Arjuna, idam adyamaya labdam imam prapsho manoratam, that a demonic person is thinking, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. Ishvaraham maham bhogi, I am the supreme person, I am the greatest of persons, I am the controller of everything, of my destiny and everyone else's. Siddhoham balavan, I'm perfect, I'm powerful. Sukhi, I'm very, very happy. This is a materialistic mentality. We see it in today's society with big, Prabhupada says, materialistic men. They have so much money, capitalist society. And the politicians, they think they have so much power. And this is their only objective in life. But it's described by Narada Muni in the 7th canto, Shoka moha bhaya krodha raga klebla shramadaya yanmula snurniam spriham pranartaya buddha. That the root cause of shoka moha bhaya krodha, the root cause of lamentation, illusion, fear, anger, poverty, is spriham, intense desire, prana arta, to get economic advancement. It's more than one's own life here. Pranartaya, spriham pranartaya. So they're simply using their intelligence, as is described in the pastimes of Puranjan Maharaj, living in the city of 9 gates. And he's simply Puranjan, one who tries to enjoy the city of 9 gates. So he's trying to inspire. His intelligence is compared to a materialistic woman. And so his intelligence is trying to calculate, how can I get more? How can I accumulate more? How can I have more social prestige? Ashomaya hata shatru, this is my enemy. I have to get rid of him. Competition, that's all we have in modern society. Man against man, brother against brother, nation against nation, ultimately. So in the age of Kali, Kalir dosha is an ocean of nothing but trouble. Right? Kali Yuga. So for the benefit of everyone, Krishna is arranging for Maharaj Parikshit to hear the message, the essence, the ripened fruit of all, the tree of all the Vedic knowledge. The Vedic knowledge, the tree of Vedic knowledge, the ripened fruit, nigama kalpataror kalitam phalam, is this Srimad Bhagavatam. That Sukadeva Goswami, he heard it from Vedavyas, but just like the bird, when it pecks on the mango or the fruit becomes sweeter. We have experience, right? So Sukadeva Goswami now is going to re-speak and re-instruct, re-express the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma projita kaitravotra paramo nirmatsura. It's rejecting all religious, materialistic religion, cheating religion. The religion like, oh God, give me my daily bread. Oh God, give me this. Even in the even in the Vedic scriptures, Praviti Marg is also expressed that if you want a lot of health, you worship the sun god. If you want many children, you worship this god. If you want a beautiful wife, you worship this god, and so on. And people have all these desires. You want wealth, you worship Kuvera. So this is Praviti Marg, just like Daksha, son of Lord Brahma. He was expert in procreation, and he gave birth within his wife's womb. He had 10,000 sons. They're called the Haryashvas. And these sons were good boys, so Daksha instructed them, you should go and practice some austerities and follow the path of Praviti Marg, become good householders, and, fill the earth with your children. So they went to the western part of India, to a sacred lake, And they practiced huge austerities. They were simply drinking water and eating air for 1 year. And Narada Muni was very impressed. These boys are performing such huge austerities. Why should they do it for some material objectives? So he came there and he preached to them pure devotional service. Vatanti tatrābhavad yadṛcchayā tattvamadvayam bhagavān iti shamyate. Learn how to love Lord Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. And so he convinced them to give up all religious practices, materially motivated religion, and simply develop your love for God. And so they all developed their love for God and went back home, back to God. And then Narada Muni, he divulged this to disclose this to Daksha. Daksha was very upset, very angry. Went back to his wife, and he, in the womb of his wife, he produced another 1,000 sons. They were called the Sarvalashvas. And they also went to the same sacred lake. Again, Narada Muni went there. Again, he preached to them. Give up this attachment to this world, to all these various material types of desires and so on. And they also practiced bhakti yoga and became pure devotees of the Lord and went back home, back to Godhead. So Daksha was very angry, very angry. And he cursed Narada Muni. He said, I curse you. You will never stay in one place very long. So Srila Prabhupada also said that when he went to the West to preach to the American boys and girls, that the parents also were very attached to these Europeans and American boys and girls who were being transformed into devotees of the Lord. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, detachment, knowledge, and devotional service to the Lord. They became very angry and perturbed. Oh, my son, he's not going to be a materialist. You're spoiling my son. You're poisoning my children. Who is teaching this poison? That there's a God. There's no God. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahura nishvaram. There's no creator of the universe, no control of the universe. So Prabhupada said, these parents have cursed me, that I have to keep traveling all over the world. So Prabhupada was always traveling all over the world, distributing Krishna consciousness in every town, every village, just by his potency. Tirtani, like Vidura, Srila Prabhupada is a personified place of pilgrimage, a personified tirtha. Wherever Srila Prabhupada went, he would purify the entire area by his great Krishna consciousness. He's a Shaktavesh avatar. There are different types of avatars. So great personalities are empowered by Lord Krishna. Krishna comes himself, or he empowers someone to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and spread light throughout the universe. So that was Srila Prabhupada. As Sukadeva Goswami is described here as Bhagavān, so sometimes these great powerful personalities, the great Mahajans, we hear of the great Mahajans in the 6th canto, they're empowered by the Lord to accomplish great and miraculous deeds. So it's a great miracle that someone can get in a cargo boat, cross the ocean, and enter into the most demoniac part of the world, where atheism is rampant. They keep, just like Sandanamarka, they're simply teaching atheism. There's no God. Life came from matter. Just you got some molecules, there's a big explosion billions of years ago, and then somehow these molecules came together and produced some living cell, and then out of a pool, some kind of a primordial pool, slithering creatures came out, And gradually, by some mechanism called natural selection and genetic mutation, you got various species of life. It's a total like fantasy. They have no way of replicating this in their multi-million-dollar laboratory. They're simply very ruthlessly and obstinately spreading this atheism, spreading it, like, don't poison my children, don't poison these civilizations. So our business is to create a revolution within the lives of the world's misdirected civilization. That is our goal and purpose in life, to give this enlightenment to everyone. And it is challenging, but as Krishna says, Shipram bhavati shastra-chantim nigati kontiya pratijani nameba. My devotee will never be vanquished. Krishna will protect his devotees. He tells Arjuna, Matchita sarva durgani mat prasada tarishyasi. If you become conscious of me, Krishna conscious, 24/7, and you do everything for me without any motives, unmotivated, without any interruption. Oh, I did enough service today. Let me go and engage in some prajalpa. Atyahara prayashascha prajalpaniyam. Let me pursue. Maybe I need a new computer, laptop. No, it's Yukta Vairagya. It's for Krishna service. I need a Mercedes-Benz for Krishna service. So, like that. No. Pure devotional service. Always serving the Lord. Then Krishna says, Mat prasadat, I will remove all your problems, all the obstacles of your life. Chitasa sarvakarmani mayi sanyasya matpara. Become conscious of me. Is it that difficult? Prabhupada said, what is the difficulty? Simply follow the principles. Adoshada tata sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya tata narta nivritti sat, tata nishta tata ruchi. Just take these different steps and come to a place of ruchi. Become at least fixed in devotional service, nishta. Every day I get up, I chant my rounds, I take darshan of the deities, which is non-different from the Lord. He's right there looking at us when we go for Mangal Artik and darshan. He's going, oh, so how are you today? You've come to my arti, you've come for my darshan, yeah. Darshan means he wants to see us. Like this, these are the practices of devotional service. And then we get a taste for devotional service. Utsahan, we become enthusiastic to engage in devotional service. That means the unwanted desires in our heart are moving away. And we have to keep them away. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his devotees and he told Maharaj Prataparudra to get hundreds of brooms and get hundreds of buckets of water. And then they filled the buckets with water from Narendra Sarovara. And the brooms, Lord Chaitanya instructed all his devotees, you sweep around the Gundicha Mandir. You sweep all the entrance ways, collect little piles of dust and straw, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would even chastise those who weren't sweeping properly. And then after that, after everything was swept internally and externally, sweeping our hearts, then devotees were getting buckets of water and passing them. Krishna, Krishna. In this way they were passing the buckets of water from one to the next. And they were throwing this water, cleaning the floor, cleaning the walls, cleaning even the ceiling. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself was cleaning our hearts. Cleaning our hearts of these tiny little dirt straws. Kutinati, fault finding, pratishta, some desire for power, name, fame, puja, desire to be honored by others, right? They're all within our heart. We're wearing Vaishnava clothing and Kanti Mala. Well, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says he's simply a Kali Chela. He's simply thinking how to enjoy material world. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying you have to keep the heart, the Gundicha Mandir of your heart clean, and eliminate all these various tiny little specks of dirt and straw and so on within your heart. Jiva Hinsa, envy of others, doing violence to others. So sometimes we even chastise our fellow devotees, or we feel annoyed by our fellow devotees. Jiva Hinsa. I don't like this devotee. Like that. So we have to be tolerate. And the only way we can be tolerant is to tatrābhavad bhavo kama lobha dayaschaye cheta eteranabridam stita pragya prasidyati. Become fixed in the mode of goodness in devotional service. Sat become nirmalam phalam. Nirmala. Become pure of heart. Simply trying to please the lotus feet of the great Acharya, the lotus feet of the spiritual master. Spishachanarthagamo yadartam mahiya sampada rajobhishekam viskinchananam navrinita yavat. One who takes the dust from the lotus feet of the great devotees of the Lord who are niskinchana. They're so full of Krishna, there's absolutely no space anywhere in their heart to have any kind of motive or desire materially. Those persons we want to take abhishek from the dust of their lotus feet. This verse is stated. Take some abhishek, some shower, some bath from the dust. So we try to catch the dust from the lotus feet. Even of all the Vaishnavas, we want to take the dust from their lotus feet. 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Narottam Das Thakur says. The dust coming from the lotus feet of devotees are my 4 kinds of foodstuff. So Sukadeva Goswami is now going to speak to Maharaj Parikshit. They're both great Mahabhagavats. One is hearing, Maharaj Parikshit, Shravanam, and one is Kirtanam, one is speaking the glories of the Lord. In this way, reducing the threat of Kala-rupa, Krishna in the form of time, comes and takes your life away. Ayur harati vaipum sam udyam nastan chayano so. It's stated that one who is not interested in hearing uttama shloka vṛtaś, the glories of Lord Krishna, by the rising and setting, the sun decreases the life of such a person. Ayur harati vaipum sam udyam nastan chayano so. Uttama shloka vṛtaś. So we always want to be hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. So now we may invite some comments or questions. Yes, Prabhu? My favorite devotee.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this very erudite, beautiful class. Hare Krishna.
You're too kind.
So when we are youthful, we think we're going to be here forever. Then as we get a little older, we start getting these reminders. And then when you get that notice in the mail, like Parikshit, he got his notice, 7 days. Yeah, he embraced it. I personally will still fight it. Even though so many notices have come, I kind of, it's not there, like you just leave it in the mailbox. You don't want to look at it. Or you say, it's not that serious. I can get out of it. I mean, I know this is a family show, so I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but we're all kind of on death row. So no one gets out alive. So the question is more how to deal with it in a Krishna conscious way. How to take this notice in the right way so that it will actually fuel and propel our attraction and devotional service. So we actually, on the launch pad, we can actually take off. Rather than, oh, let me go count my money, or, you know, call my lawyer, or call a few friends and see what they're up to. So how are you dealing with the notices that we're getting as we're getting older, and you're, you know, senior to us? I'm sure you had a few notices. And how you're dealing with it?
Well, how do I deal with notices? Blood pressure goes up, hearing aids, you know, poor circulation in the body, arthritis, jara. Old age is coming. Old age is here. You know, we just have to be very eager. Samutkanta, Rupa Goswami, Samutkanta, and Lola Shamai, Loyam, greed. We want to be greedy, but for Krishna, for Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada has lots of mercy for us. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the great acharyas, they have a lot of mercy, but we have to want it really badly. You know, more than our very life air. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge. Srila Prabhupada, he would pray to the deities every morning, like, please keep me out of Maya. Maya is extremely powerful, as we see. Our history is there. If you know the history of ISKCON, Maya is extremely powerful. So Prabhupada said, my Western disciples are not enough afraid of Maya. He once said that. Of course, beating the mind with shoes means getting up for Brahma Muhurta. That will help. Beating the mind with shoes. And in the evening, the mind starts, the ether starts getting full of Rajagun, because people, fruitive workers, when they come home from their 9 to 5, now I have to enjoy the fruits. And the ether becomes polluted. So we want to take shelter of Nastapriyashu, Abhradeshu, Nityam Bhaga, hearing in association of devotees. Katayantas Jamam. We want to hear and chant in the evenings, beating the mind with a broomstick. We want to practice vairagya. Be careful overeating, oversleeping, allowing the mind to pull us away into whimsical activities. Prayashas cha prajalpa niyamagraha. Like that. So there's all these instructions being given to us, how to control the mind and senses. The problem is, the mind, he's the manager. He's managing the 5 senses, the other senses. He's a dictator, and we know Pramata, Chanchala Himana Krishna Pramata Balavan. The mind is very strong, is very obstinate, Pramata, Balavam Dridam, very determined. Chanchala. Chanchala means it's an unchaste wife. It's unchaste. It's not loyal at all. It's been enjoying for millions and millions of lifetimes. Right? Purusho prakriti stohi bhunkte prakriti sadgunan karanam gunasang. For millions and millions and millions of lives in all the various species, the senses and mind are trying to somehow enjoy this horrible material world. And now we've been given the human form of life. the mind is going, come on, you're just an animal, just like the other lifetimes. You know, you were an animal before. Come on, be an animal now. So Vyāsadeva instructs his sons, right? Nayam deha deha bhajan viloke kastan kamar. Don't work hard just to enjoy those pleasures which are available to those creatures that eat stool. Don't be a stool eater. One time I was in a class in Los Angeles. I'd read Ananda Maharaj. In those days, a lot of people would come on the Sunday feast, so it was Sunday feast. The place was packed, 300. This was in the 70s, so people were coming like crazy because of Srila Prabhupada. And he said, he quoted this verse, and he said, don't be a pig. For dramatic effect. He said, spa, a pig. Spa vid varaho vid. Don't be a vid, don't be a pig. People are like stunned, Try to shock them out of their illusion. So we want to keep the mind very chaste. Keep our mind very chaste, like a chaste wife. Control it, or else it will run havoc, cause havoc, as we've seen. In our particular movement, so much havoc has been caused because of the mind. So we can never just, cruise control. Nowadays they have cars with cruise control, cruise control. No, keep your foot on the pedal. Don't take your foot off the gas, as they say in the West. Keep your foot on the gas pedal. Keep going, keep going. Determined perseverance and determination is the qualities of devotees. That conviction that Krishna will be very merciful to me in the long run, at the end game. The end game is becoming completely involved and submerged in Krishna consciousness and pleasing Krishna. That is Raga Bhakti. Narottam Das Thakur sings about it in his songs, constantly remembering the Lord. It's there. It means affection. You can't think of someone you don't like. In the beginning it's mechanical, but gradually the heart, the lotus heart, starts unfolding. It's dormant within our heart. It's not an artificial imposition on the heart, Prabhupada says. It's there, so continuously chanting and avoiding the offenses, the lotus of the heart starts to open up. And we become attached to the holy name, which is Krishna. We're getting a taste for the holy name. And gradually, Krishna reveals more and more. So it takes utsahan nischayat dharyat, right? Nischayat dharyat. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I hope I didn't offend or bore anyone too much. I take the dust from all your lotus feet on my head. Thank you, Hare Krishna.